we'll start by saying thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have you all join us. We have some people who are already on our team, we have some people who are not yet on our team, and we have some people who are part of Young Living, but not directly on our Oily Space team, if you know what that is. And I'm just so excited that we're all coming together to learn today. So just a really quick intro of what we're going to be talking about today for those of you who maybe don't know quite what you signed up for. Don't panic. We're just going to give you a really quick kind of overview. A few of us are going to give you a quick overview of why we love Young Living, why we chose this company, and how we kind of do this business alongside one another. So our goal with this today is we're going to tell you our stories. There's 4 of us who are going to share. We're going to tell you our stories really quickly, how we got involved with Young Living, and then we're going to go through the 10 main points for why we love Young Living and why we chose Young Living to be the company that we went with. Okay, so if you're ready, I'll introduce everybody who's going to share individually. So the first one is Alicia. She is our fearless leader of Oily Space. And she's going to tell you how she got started with oils and also how the business part of it came into her life as well.
Hey, hi guys. So I'm Alicia and I've been doing Young Living for almost 5.5 years. And I started because in our house, my husband, he is a business owner and has a stressful job, and he was having chronic headaches and had them off and on since he was a little kid, but they're stress related usually, so they were happening often. I saw someone post on Instagram about oils, and prior to seeing that, we literally tried everything to try and get rid of his headaches. And he was prescribed some pretty heavy medication that he didn't actually fill the prescription. Now, I'm not against prescriptions, but I was against 4 pages of side effects for headaches. And so for me, you just have to outweigh, or what we do is we have to outweigh the benefit versus non-benefit with medications. So for us, that wasn't something we wanted to do just for the symptoms of headaches. And so we were looking for everything else to try and do weird things, woo things, diet things, all the things, and nothing was working. And they were pretty bad that he had one of his coworkers give him like massages every day. Don't worry, it was a dude, it wasn't lady friend. And that was the only thing that was working. So when I saw that Instagram post, I honestly thought that oils wouldn't work, and it was just another thing we would try. And we were spending a lot of money trying to get rid of headaches. So for me, the $200 spent was worth it if it worked. So I bought it, brought it home, opened peppermint, knew peppermint worked because I looked on Pinterest, and made up a roller. And I think I put 10 drops in the roller. So what is that, like $2.50 worth of oils, and it took away his headaches. And I was literally swear word ticked because something so available in nature and so available for a cost worked that I just started yapping to everyone and their mother about this option, because I think that in an ideal world, we should be repairing our body as we're fixing our body. So if you like work with like a medical professional for something, we should try and find the underlying issue. I still don't know what that is, but I was ticked that I'm like, yes, go to your doctor, but why can't we use plants, right? So that's where it all started for me. And I never intended this to be a business for me. But it turned into it because I had little goals. I wanted to buy product. I wanted it to be in my home, and I didn't want to take out of our budget. So that was my first goal. And really, that's such an easy goal. You just share with a few people and it benefits them. We'll get into that later. Then when I hit that, I raised my goal a little bit. And guys, I'm not saying this to brag, but I make a more than full-time income with like 0 education in this industry. And I get to be home with my family, do what I want, work when I want, all of the things. And in this time right now, I am so thankful that I have income, that not only do I take care of my family, but I can take care of other people's family, which is so important, because there are some families that want to so badly work right now. And I don't know about you, but when I saw that government check coming in, that's not enough. So I am so thankful that this business can afford me to give away product, because I have a whole bunch, but also give away money. So I'm going to cut myself off. Is that good?
That was so good. Thank you so much for being open. I think it's so cool that we can share that. And then also, a lot of us on this call actually know Alicia. So we actually know a success story. And I think that's really cool. Okay. Sydney is next. Sydney is also on our Oily Space team. A lot of your team is on here, which is so cool to see. Sydney, will you share your story with us?
Yeah, so my story starts out a little different. I was actually very against oils. I was the girl that went into someone's kitchen and turned off their diffuser when it was turned on, because I thought that they were hokey. I thought they were weird. I thought they smelled funny. I thought that my family was being tricked into using something, and I was not for it. Just for some perspective, all three of my sister-in-laws and my mother-in-law were all using oils, and I was still saying no. And as most stories go, I became desperate when I had a little boy that had a diaper rash that we could not get rid of prescription creams for weeks. It would not go away. It was raw and bleeding, and it was awful. And I finally said, okay, I'll try. And they said, what do you have to lose? Gave me a roller blend of oils, and within 24 hours, his rash was gone. In the midst of all of this, I had decided since becoming a mom that I didn't want to work anymore. I didn't want to spend more time in the workforce than I spent with my family. That was my own personal choice. And so I decided to quit my job. To let them know not that I wasn't going back after maternity leave. And on the same day that I handed in my resignation, my husband came home and told me that he was let go from his job that he had been at for 4 years because they were restructuring the company. And we had a 4-month-old at home. Neither of us had jobs to go back to. And I was like, what do we do now? And we couldn't afford my very first starter kit because of that. My mother-in-law actually paid for it for me. And we made the agreement that once I got my Young Living business going, that I would pay her back. And by the time, from when I ordered to when my kit arrived at my door, I had already transferred her the money because I had sold enough kits to replace mine. So I jumped in 100% right away. I actually probably said yes to the business before I even knew really what oils were, but I figured I will figure it out along the way. We just need to have money in our home. And so now 4 years later, here we are, and we get to do it on our time, just like Alicia said, and I get to be the one that can pay for someone's kit so that they pay me back when they sell 3. And that has been an amazing space to be in. So that's how we got started. We'll never look back, and we will use oils even if we're not sharing about them.
So cool, Sydney. That was so good. I actually didn't know how you got started with the business. So that's a unicorn story for sure. Okay, next, Amy. Amy is American. She is not directly on our team, but I am so excited that she's here because we're going to talk about this later as one of our 10 points, actually. But one of the most beautiful things about this business is that you get to meet so many amazing people that truly become your friends and have similar mindsets to you and interests and all of the things. And Amy is someone who is all of those things, checks all of those boxes for me. So I am so excited for her to share. Amy, would you tell us your story?
Hi guys, yeah, thank you for having me. And I was like, all right, Sandra, you need to stop so I don't start crying before we even get going. But yeah, so I am from Massachusetts. I live on Cape Cod with my husband and our 4 kiddos. And we have been using essential oils for 5 years. And a little bit of how we got into it, there were sort of 2 things that came together. The first was that I suffered with like debilitating migraines and asthma for my whole life. And the medications I took for my asthma triggered my migraines, and the medications I took for my migraines caused asthma flare-ups. But I literally knew nothing else. Like, this was just how I was raised. This is what was normal in my home growing up. And I honestly didn't know there was any other way to live. I just thought like, hey, like I am never going to be like one of those people who's like super well. Like I'm just going to kind of bounce between doctor's appointments and medications and all of this. And then when I got married, when we got pregnant with our first daughter, I had to come off every medication I was on because they were all not safe to be on during pregnancy. And that was like sort of the first time I think I had a wake up call of like, well, if this isn't safe to be on during pregnancy, is this something I should be putting in my body all the time? And I literally knew no other option at that point. So I came off all my medications. I had a miserable pregnancy. I was like literally having migraines where I was like blacking out nonstop. I was like, it was just like really terrible. So then after that, I had gotten back on my medications. And then very soon after that, I got pregnant with my son. And so I came off everything again. And my husband's like, babe, we got to figure something out because that was like really terrible for you. And so we were like, there has to be something, right? Like something we can do. And then around that same time, my sister, who was 31 at the time, was 8 months pregnant. She went to her OB for just like a routine appointment, and they felt a lump in her breast. And they were like, it's surely just like your milk is coming in. You probably have a clogged duct, but like, let's just look over this to make sure we're not missing anything. And so they sent her to get some testing. And that afternoon, we got a phone call that she had breast cancer. She was 31 years old, 8.5 months pregnant. She's doing really well today. She literally had a mastectomy while she was pregnant with my nephew. He arrived about a week after her surgery. And through that process, she went through all the testing and found out that she did not have a genetic form of breast cancer. It was environmental, so something she had been exposed to along the way. And I am the type of person that like, in life, like do whatever you want for me, but like don't mess with my friends and family type of person. And so when she got that diagnosis and we found out it was environmental, I was like, oh no, like this stops here. This stops with our generation. Like I will not allow this for my kids. And so that just like lit a fire in me to figure out what's the other option? How can we support our body? How can we support our systems? How can we control what we're putting in and on our skin and all of this stuff? And so that realization to me that like I was the gatekeeper to my home, and like I can't control what happens out in the world, and like we'll never know what in particular caused her cancer, but something that she was exposed to. But we have to go live, but we can control what comes in our home. And so that is really when I knew I wanted a change. I just didn't know what it was. And so I literally started asking everyone I knew, like, what can you do? What can you use? All of this. And it was actually my husband's aunt was like, I think my friend Meg uses these oils. And I was like, auntie, I love Jesus, okay? Like, I'm not getting into your oils and like all of this stuff. Like, I had no idea. I was not familiar with them. I didn't know what they could be used for. But I started researching. I'm a big researcher. Literally got like a binder and like started taking notes. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is going to change everything for us. And so I ended up getting in touch with Meg Cockle, who I didn't know from a hole in the wall. And I started asking her questions. Hey, is this going to help with headaches? Can this help with this? Can this help with that? And she's like, yes, yes, yes. And I was like, I am willing to try anything. And so we got our starter kit. We were immediately blown away by the results that we got, like so quickly. And so that sort of began our journey into using oils. And then as far as the business end of things, I was very much like these other, like I had immediate, like, oh my gosh, I just put lavender on my bacon burn, like when I was cooking, and it's gone. Like, like I started having these immediate things. And so I like signed up my sister and my mom and my mother-in-law, and like, it was just normal. Like, it didn't even feel strange to me to be like, you guys, this just happened, get your kit. And so like I signed up a couple people, and that's when we realized like, again, like I had now had 2 kiddos, was staying home with them. I had left my job as a kindergarten teacher, and we didn't have room in our budget to keep buying oils. And I knew I needed more for the things that we needed to work on. And so we started sharing very casually for a couple of months, but I was just so excited. I told everyone I knew about them. And then I think about a year into casually sharing, we sat down and we were like, this is going to be it for us. This is going to be the vehicle to get to all the places. And we started really getting serious about it. And we went from where we were, which at that time was star, to silver in about 7 months, through just showing up every day, deciding that this was going to be it, and just being really open and transparent with sharing our story.
Oh, that's such a tough story to follow. So good, Amy. I actually have never heard that. I have learned a lot about you, but I've never heard your kind of starter Young Living story. So that was super awesome. Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, so my story is like very different from all three of theirs. I actually I was interested in the business side before I even like got to know the product. So I actually looked for a network marketing company for 2 years, and there were basically three things I was looking for: compensation plan, the actual product, and how how the company actually pays you. And so I would find one and not the other, and then I would get like bad vibes with one company, like I didn't mesh with the team or whatever it was. So it was a really long process for me to actually find a product that came in line with the team, that came in line with how the company actually paid you. And so not to get too far into this, because we're going to cover this in our 10 points that we're going to go into, but it was really important to me that the company paid you not in product, but actually compensated you for your work. So we get paid that way through Young Living. It's an actual check. And so that was like number one on my list. I was like, I love products, but I'm going to work for money. I'm not going to work for products. And so I found that in Young Living. I was playing tennis professionally at the time, so I needed a company that had natural products that wouldn't come up positive on a drug test. And so even actually some natural supplements come up positive on a drug test. So that was really big for me too. And we're going to talk about this later, but I actually had no idea that I needed to like the people that I worked with. So I found that, thankfully. Just to talk about the product a little bit more, I think this is really important for me to share, because I think sometimes people think that you need to love the product or have this like crazy story about a product, and those will come. Definitely make sure that you're finding products that are in line with who you are and align with your values and your morals and all of those things. But I started this business like zero idea of how essential oils worked. I had no idea how they worked. I just knew that they were good for me. I knew that they weren't going to come up positive on a drug test, and that they were going to help me with things that I needed help with, because I had been given samples. But I learned with my people along the way. And so if that's you and you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, that is totally okay. We will coach you through that. And that is never a limiting factor for why you should do this business. So I hope that encourages you. I could talk about products all day long now, but we're talking about how we got started. So like I said, we're going to go through the 10 kind of things that we love about this business. So I'm going to start with number one. Number one is you get to be your own boss. So as I mentioned, I was looking for a network marketing company, and that was why. I was playing professionally at the time. I'm playing tennis professionally, I should say. You don't know what I was playing. And I don't know if any of you guys know anything about how athletes work, but it's very difficult to make ends meet in the first few years. And so you're basically breaking even if you're lucky. And so I had to find things like sponsorships, and I wanted to work because obviously I'm not training 24 hours of the day. But as a professional athlete, I was traveling all over the world. I had a very, it was a flexible schedule, but obviously when I needed to be on the court, I needed to be on the court. So you can't find a typical 9 to 5 doing that. So it was really appealing to me that I could work from anywhere at any time, choose my schedule, and put in as many hours as I wanted. Now, we obviously know that the more hours you put in, the more you're going to get a return from that. But I was just completely infatuated with the fact that I got to control that. So that was super, super important to me. And then as I started Young Living, I actually was also working in the corporate world. So this was like after tennis. And I worked in the corporate world for 1 year, and I learned that it was not for me. And this is what ultimately made me jump into Young Living, because I was like, I get up every single day and I work with men and women who have been in this office for 30 years. They have never moved up in this company. They live for the weekends, and they hate coming to work. I was like, that will not be me. I will choose what my life looks like. I will never work for corporate Canada or America again. So being your own boss is a huge, huge blessing. All right, I'm going to throw it over. I forget who has number 2. I wrote it down. Okay, Alicia has number 2.
Okay, number 2. Number 2 is you get to choose who you work with. And this is so cool. So for me, because I didn't get into the business right away, I shared and just like opened my mouth and told people about the business or about like products, because I do that in life about everything. Like, talk to me about the Diva Cup or talk to me about whatever. I will share because, and geez, Diva should like give me a kickback. I've probably had like literally 100 women. Anyways, so I talk, but then I helped my friends and my family get their kits. Not everyone, but my friends and my family. The beauty of this business is when I decided to do it, my sister-in-law, Rachel, who's on here, already used oils, and my mother-in-law Eloise already used oils, and we basically had a powwow and said, let's do this together. And it's so cool to do this thing with family for a couple reasons. One, if you're using the product, you're going to get more results because you're constantly talking about cool things that you've learned. Second to that is I want to travel and spend time with my family. I'm so thankful I have awesome in-laws and an awesome mother-in-law. I have traveled with her more pre-Young Living than anyone else. That might be weird to you guys, but it's not to me. She's amazing. And I wanted to continue to do that. And the reality is when you're building a business, I don't care if it's Young Living or your own, let's say, mom and shop, that takes time. Why not spend it with the people you want to spend it with? Because the reality is when I'm like pushing really hard or even maintaining, I still have 4 kids. I still have a husband. So when I'm working this business, I now get to communicate with my friends and my family during the day, during work hours, and it kind of takes care of both worlds. And then so you get to choose who you want to do the business with. And what I do want to say is, even if you don't choose, because look at like all of you guys on here, I haven't chosen all of you, but who is attracted to our team are amazing, amazing people. I have like some of my bestest friends because we do oils with or do the business. So I don't know if it's just like, I'm going to say it's the culture we create, because not every team is like this. We create an awesome culture that everyone's welcome, and we're truly kind people. And so I look forward to doing work with everyone. And I haven't chose you, but I chose the culture of our team, which attracts amazing people.
Okay, do you want me to interject each time? Number 3 is going to be Amy. Or you guys, we'll just say next person because we all know our numbers, right?
Perfect. Yeah, cool? We can just keep going.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna just say one thing about what Alicia just shared. It's just like, it's so cool. Like, I would never be here with all you guys right now if we didn't get to be part of this community. That's awesome. Number 3 is just that people come first and that we get to fill needs. And so if you have looked into Enneagram at all, or like the colors at all, a huge, huge percentage of the population is motivated by meeting needs and by serving. And so I think it's really cool that we can show up every day and our job gets to be meeting needs and serving in the lives of those around us. Because honestly, like for so many people, that is more motivating even than making a paycheck, knowing that they're making a difference in people's lives. But then the flip side of that is not only can you show up and serve and meet needs, but that you do get a paycheck. And so you're also meeting the needs of yourself and your family while you're pouring into other people. I think the coolest thing, and Sandra would probably note this since she kind of started by researching different network marketing companies, but is that Young Living is truly so unique. Like, we are literally sitting on a gold mine and on a company that can never fail. And the reason is, if you think of other network marketing companies, now, I'll just pause for 1 second and say, like, there are statistics out there that within the next 20 years, 80% of the people will be making a paycheck through a means of network marketing. Okay, like network marketing is what is going to be the biggest way in which people are making an income for their family, and that is so much because of this whole millennial generation, which many of us are like on the edge of, where they realize like, hey, I don't have to work for you, I can work for me, and I can make better money working for me. And so there's still some stigma around network marketing, and that's literally going to disappear, and people are going to be like, dang, why didn't I start when you did? But Young Living in particular, first of all, this company has been around over 25 years. We are the industry leader in essential oils. Like, we know this. No other essential oil company on the planet will ever catch up, because all the things, like when you see new products being released every year, like they have been 25 years in the making. Like, no one is going to be able to catch up. But what's even cooler than that, right? I think of network marketing companies that I see pop up in my Facebook feed that like friends are doing. And I'm like, okay, Beachbody. Guess what? I signed up for Beachbody at one point. You know what I did? I got the DVD workouts, and I've never paid anyone a penny ever since, because I got my workouts and now I don't need anything from them. I can do them whenever I want, right? If you look at like LuLaRoe, it's like, how many leggings do you need? Like there's a cap. There's like a certain amount of what you're going to purchase. If you look at like Younique or other like things, it's like makeup. You only can purchase makeup, and you've now cut out half the world's population because men aren't going to be interested. And like, so you can look at all these other network marketing companies, and I'm like, you're talking to a very specific group of people about a very specific product that's only going to work for a very specific amount of time. And with Young Living, we have amazing products that literally men, women, children, young, elderly, like on our continent, on other continents, like it doesn't matter. We fill needs. I always tell people, you could build a business entirely on Savvy makeup. You could build your whole business and hit diamond selling CBD. I know in Canada, this is a touchy subject. But you could like say you're like, I want to do Beachbody because I want to help people. Like, cool, sell Pure Protein Complete and run Zooms where you do exercise. Like, there is literally a way for every single person to show up and offer product that's going to add value to every single population. I think of certain things and I'm like, and like, this is literally no offense if anyone's involved in any other network marketing, but like, let's just take Beachbody. Like, I would probably like rock Beachbody workouts from like in my 20s and 30s. And after that, I'm going to be like, like, it is what it is, right? Like, but like, I'm going to be buying oils when I'm 99 years old. Like, there's never going to be a point in which I don't need these products, and they are consumable. And so people are using them, and they are the best quality. I always think of Young Living as like Amazon for people who want to be healthy, right? Because we literally have something to meet every need, and it is the purest and the best products that you can get. And like, that is the company I want to stand behind. That's the company I want to represent, because I can choose any single person that I think of in my life, and I can be like, okay, they would do supplements. Okay, they need shampoo and conditioner and deodorant that's natural. Okay, they need the Thieves line. Okay, they would like oils. Like, we have so much variety, and we have good, pure quality products that we can stand behind and come along and meet people's needs.
Okay, number 4. You gonna sit with me? As I have a little one join me here. Number 4 is put up your hand if you like to travel. Put up your hand if you like to travel with your family. Put up your hand if you like to travel every once in a while without your family. Just kidding. You want to go somewhere? Yeah. So Young Living is super cool in the fact that we get to travel the world together. I don't think it's been mentioned yet, but something that's really neat about Young Living is that just last year, they allowed for spouse accounts, which means that both you and your partner can make money at the same time with Young Living, which is so neat. And in saying that, you can also travel with your partner because you can both win and earn trips through Young Living. There's a bunch of people on here that have been to Hawaii with Young Living. There are some of us that have been to Utah with Young Living. There are some of us that have been to Idaho with Young Living, and I don't even know where else. I'm sure I'm not representing across the board. But last year, I had the privilege of going to Utah on an all expenses paid trip for the Silver Retreat. I had the privilege of going with my sister-in-law, Lisa, as well, which was such a special time. And I took my 4-month-old Macy with us because she was still nursing. And they put us up in the fanciest hotel I have ever stayed in my life. Paid for everything from the minute the wheels took off to the minute they were back on the ground back home. They treated us like royalty. Free oils on our pillow when we got back to our room, hot cookies throughout the day, Ningxia Red fountains of it. And it was just so cool as a way of saying thank you, to just say, here, our doors are open and you can have what you need. And in saying that, we got to visit their farm, their lavender farm in Utah. And I was actually a little bit upset with myself that I had not seen a farm up until that point, because their distillation process of the oils was so cool for so many reasons. But we had an opportunity to talk to one of the workers there, and they were pulling seeds out of a container and holding it in the air, and they would pinch a little bit and lift it into the air, and whatever would blow away was not good, and whatever remained in their hand was the good seed, and then they put it into a pot. And so lit like this all day long of what was good and what needed to stay and what needed to go. And my mind was blown. Who takes that good care of the product that's going to end up on and in my body? Young Living does. And I go to a farm, go and see a farm if you can. As soon as everything opens back up, just go. And the second thing, 2 more things really quick. The second thing that was really cool was we talked to the hotel facilities managers, the different people that worked there, and they said they host conferences all the time, and they would have Young Living back every single day because the Young Living company treats the staff of the hotel so well. Young Living brings in the kindest people. The us that win the trip are so friendly, and they couldn't speak highly of Young Living, high enough of Young Living. And the third reason that traveling is so cool was there were 2,500 people at our Silver Retreat. And they estimated that next year, when they do Silver Retreat again, there would be 5,000 silvers at Young Living. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that there is room for every single person at the Young Living table. It's not a one person can be successful. It's not 1,000 people can be successful. They're estimating 2,500 new silvers in 1 year. And they're still, 5 ranks above that? And how cool to go, there is no cap for me. There is no cap for my partner. Jonathan can be silver next year and I can be gold, or Jonathan he can beat me. I don't care. I don't care which one of us gets there first. But how cool to look around you and see thousands of people blessed by this business and know that there's only more to come. So travel is a perk.
Okay, I'm up next, but I was just thinking as Sydney was saying that this isn't on our 10 things, but it goes in line with what she was talking about. So one of my big things after I was done, or after I took a break from my tennis career, was that I wanted to travel, because I've traveled all over the world, but it's only been for tennis. And so one of my big things was like, okay, I'm going to have a job that I can create the hours, all of the things, but also that I can travel. And so that's one thing that I was thinking about while Sydney was talking, is that a lot of people start this business as a side hustle for extra fun money. Like, you're listening to us speak, and a lot of us, we do this as a full-time thing. Some of us don't, but the reality is you get to choose. And so if that means that you keep your full-time job and then you just keep this as your fun money, keep that money for traveling if you want, if that's what's on your heart, like it was for me, or like it is for me. So, okay, but I digress. The next one, number 5, is stability. Okay, so like Amy said, there sometimes are some negative connotations that come with network marketing. So I could talk for hours about how that is just a mindset thing, but I'll just leave it at that. For me, when I think about Young Living, I think about stability because, like she said, it's been around for 25 years, and that is rare for a network marketing company. But what's even more incredible about that is that they are consistently growing. So last year, Young Living had just under 2 billion in sales. Like this, like we're going up after 25 years still. So there's two things that says. Number one, it says that people are staying. And number two, because the products work, right? People are staying because the products work. If they didn't work, the numbers would be dropping. And the other thing is that there still is abundance. Endless people want to be part of Young Living. That's why it's going on an upward scale. So I think, and she also talked about this too, but I'll just repeat it because it's so big. Young Living was the pioneers. We are the pioneers in the essential oil industry, which means that we are the first of everything. And that's a big deal. It is really a big deal. We got a chance to meet Gary, some of us who are on this call, who is the founder of Young Living. And like Sydney said, when she went to the farm, there's just so much heart and so much soul into the work that goes into creating these products, which is something that I am so proud of, coming from someone who wasn't even interested in the products when I first started. So yeah, I could talk about that for hours. Okay, next, Alicia.
Okay, next, income potential. I love this one because to me, it screams whatever you want. It's either no pressure or a ton of pressure, and no one is going to tell you what to choose. So Young Living is set up that if you want, and our team has a great culture for business that if it is whatever you want. If you want to share with someone once a month, cool. Once every 6 months, cool. If you want to go gung-ho and replace your income and anywhere in between and beyond, we can help you. And what's really great about the income potential is it's not like a standard job where you have to calculate, oh, I'm going to get a 2% raise every year and this is where I'm going to end up. If you choose, you can double, triple, quadruple your pay. And I'm not throwing out numbers like normal MLMs, like you'll get a Mercedes. Hey, if you want, you can, but I'm not touting that everyone wants that or is going to go for it. Sometimes $200 is life-changing for a family. That is 100% doable in the month you start if you are committed and focused and can continue on. So income potential is there. When I started, my personal story is I wanted $150 more than our Essential Rewards order. So I wanted to pay for our kids' schooling tuition that went up because we had an extra kid, and I wanted that $150 a month. I got it, and I don't want to say it was easy because this is a job and it's work, but compared to what I thought it was easy. It's like sharing product and just doing it with intention. So whatever your goal is, it's just doing it with intention to get there. And we have a ton of resources. I'm not going to go into how to get there, but we're going to post the income disclosure because we're talking about money. And the income disclosure is in average pay per month. And if you look at it, you're like, what? Some people get paid like $130,000 a month. Guys, yes, I know people there. And what's really cool about that is when I started, the people that are making that much money were making like $5,000 a month, which is like an insane amount of money too. But why I'm excited about this is because I've seen the progression of not only myself getting $50 a month from Young Living and celebrating it to getting my largest check of $10,000 a month, which is insane. I tell you, because I'm not special. I just share with a lot of people and help a lot of people share. And then see my friends get like 20,000. So like, I know that those numbers are weird, and that's kind of what makes MLM sometimes weird, is people throwing around those numbers. But I feel comfortable throwing around those numbers because I've seen real people that are moms, retired pharmacists, teachers, like literally every person under the sun reach somewhere from the $50 to $150,000 a month, and whatever is comfortable to you is achievable. I think I'm done yelling at you. I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you. I just talk with my hands and get excited. Oh, P.S. I am excited because I honestly get more excited about people reaching their goals. And guys, I am excited because I know where I was at when I was like started versus now, and the growth and the like what I've learned and the skills I've learned to like make more money. So I haven't had to pay for that education. I got it. And I want you to look at me being a role model and saying, if she can do it, I can do it. And if she can do it, I can do it better. Like, I want you to do it better. But I know where I came from, that I was like scared to make a phone call to order pizza for my family. And now I lead Zooms of like 100 people sometimes. So I'm just saying the income potential is there, but also us helping you to get skills to get where you want and anywhere in between, and we'll support you, whatever that looks like. Now I'm done. I'll mute myself.
It's just your passion hands. You can't help it. The thing I want to share about next is just the community. And I think you've probably heard all of us already touch on this because it's so big. I've said it once and I will say it a million times. I came for the oils and I stayed for the community. I think that I 100% would have been someone who placed a 300 PV order every single month and got, because the products were what I needed. And like, I would have done that for the rest of my life. I would have been an amazing product user. But I fell into this community and I knew I was going to do whatever it took to stay a part of this community. Because I don't know if my story is anything like something that will resonate with you, but I am a stay-at-home mama of 4 kiddos, 4 months to 7 years. I am a former kindergarten teacher. I graduated college with a degree in elementary education, special education, early childhood education. I was super passionate about teaching. I loved being in the classroom. I loved making a difference. I loved like pouring into those kiddos. I stopped that to stay home with my kids. We started homeschooling once our littles got to that age, and I literally loved it. Like, I love being a mom so much. It's what I've always wanted to do. Like, when I was a little girl and people would say, what do you want to do when you grow up? I just wanted to be a mom. Like, that's always been what I've wanted. But all of a sudden I got here and it's freaking lonely. Like, a lot of the time when you are home with your kids all day and you don't get to interact with other adults and you are loving on your babies, but you are realizing that you're losing parts of yourself. And so for me, I remember literally like 4 years ago, like at least once a week in the evenings, my husband would get home from work and I would just cry to him. And I would say, like, I need to figure something out. I need to plug in. I need to talk to people. Like, he would get home from work and I'd just be like, blah, 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 blah. Then like, I'd probably be like, and chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. Like, and he's probably like, oh my gosh. But I was like, I need to feel like I'm contributing outside of our home. I need to feel like I have a purpose. And I remember back then being like, I don't know, maybe I just need to like sign up for an exercise class, or I need to get out. I need to do something. I need to have impact. And so I fell into this community, and for me, it filled like everything that was missing. I was able to go into people's homes, have community with them. I was able to use my love of teaching to show them what they could do. Built the most amazing friendships, was able to welcome my friends into doing this with me, people that I wasn't having connection with anymore. And now, like, on a weekly basis, it's like my house is full of my friends and their children. We are able to meet in ways like this. I'm able to travel with all these people. And it is literally like, this community is so life-giving. It will be the biggest gift to you if you choose to pour into it and to be vulnerable and to get to know people. And this is something I've shared before, but I don't know if you all have heard it. But so we just our newest baby, Boaz, we walked through adoption. He's our baby through adoption. And it was like a 4-year process, and it was just like a whole lot of craziness. And Bryce and I look back now and like, I don't just like try not to lose it, but like we literally would not have our son if it was not for this community. Like the emotional support, the people checking on us, showing up in our lives, speaking truth over us, encouraging us to keep going when things got really hard. They were literally all of my oily friends, as my kids call them. We look back now and we like literally did the math out. We had to fundraise, like adoptions are expensive, like 60,000 plus expensive. And our fundraising came 90% from people that we are connected to through oils. And like, that's insane. And like, that's this community, that's who's going to show up in your life. And that's who's going to like literally be here to cheer you on. And like, those are some pretty like drastic examples, but I promise you that is what's waiting for you when you plug in and pour in and get vulnerable. And these friendships are real. And we, like we talked about, there's room at the table for the financial opportunity, but friend, there is room at the table for friendships and community and this really beautiful mingling of the two. So this is a huge, huge part of what is so wonderful about this business.
Oh man, I feel like we could just end there. Goodbye. Just kidding. Amy, I love your heart so much. Thanks for sharing. Number 8, which seems so small in comparison to, but number 8 is resources. I will help you in 1 minute, okay? We have a ton of resources. Can I finish my call, please? I'll be in 1 minute. I'll be 1 minute. Well, you know, this happens to you at home. Does someone else want to go, Sandra? And then I'll hop back on. Okay.
Alicia, I think yours is next, right? Are you good to go with yours?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Okay, so I'm on low startup cost, and what I'm gonna change it up to no startup cost for a couple reasons. So we all know the best way to get started using oils is a premium starter kit, which is $199. Okay, that's how we kind of tell people to get started with oils. If you don't want to get started with a kit, you don't have to. So you can create an account with Young Living in Canada with nothing, literally nothing. You can create an account and your account sits there and you don't even need product. So let's assume that we're going to say the startup cost is $199. Okay, that's your startup cost. That to me is not a startup cost. You're getting value of $450 in exchange for an account, but that product you're going to use. That's not a cost. So why we love Young Living is if you buy your kit and want to do the business, you can. If you buy your kit with the intention of doing the business and don't want to, guess what? You get to use that product and then you're done. There's no other fees. There's nothing else. It is the lowest cost for an MLM that I have seen personally, because it's consumable products that you're actually going to use. So there's other ones that have like a kit, but it might just like sit there on your shelf and you might not use it. Second to this, why I get passionate and I use my hands is because we have had several other like normal businesses. We own an aerospace machine shop. Do you think the startup cost was $199 for that aerospace machine shop? So I'm passionate because we spent more money than I would like to admit getting this machine shop going, hoping it's going to work, like literally hoping it's going to work, and having like employees and debt and all of the things on the line to like cross your fingers that people are going to need satellites. So I am super passionate because we're on the other opposite end of the spectrum with stress and finances and all the things. Whereas if I were to replace my husband's shoes with my stress with YL, I have zero stress. If Young Living went bye-bye tomorrow, I don't have anything invested other than my time. I won't owe anything. I won't ever have to go bankrupt. I will never have to sacrifice my family's finances. I just get to go, thank you for the money you've already given me. I get to start over. And for us, that is huge, 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 huge. My fun money is not a stress or pressure on my family other than taking away my time. And guess what? I get to do it when my kids are sleeping. So is it really taking away? So I'm so passionate about this point because you're never screwed. Sorry for if that's like language. You're going to get to know me. I'm going to say other things. So that you're never going to get screwed with Young Living. You're literally going to use product and that's it. And Young Living will never say, you have to sell this much in a year in order to get paid, or you have to sell this much in order to get paid in a month. Zero. Like Sandra said at the beginning, if you work and sell something, you get paid, period, end of story. So I'm going to say zero risk, zero startup other than your time, which is valuable. I'm not taking away from that, but you're not going to get screwed financially, which is huge, especially in this time. If we're already strapped for cash and we go, oh, I want to start a business, zero startup cost. And I just want to add one more thing. You can meet me if you want. I want to add more things. Sometimes I think that's actually a bad thing because I think when people invest in something, they really work for it. But hey, Young Living's just saying you get the choice to put in whatever passion you want into it. I'm not going to require you to do it. And I love that so much. So zero startup cost. There you go.
You want me to go now? Okay. I'm not going to apologize for having to leave because he's my boy and sometimes mommy has to come before business and sometimes business has to come before mommy. So thanks for your patience in that. I was talking about resources. Do you feel like you need to know everything before you start doing oils? Do you feel like you won't know where to start? Do you feel like you will be in it by yourself? All of those feelings are very normal. And what I want to say is you don't need to have any of those things to start. However, we have some pretty awesome business tools to be able to support you. The main one, which is so cool, is our Oily Space group on Facebook. It is filled with 1,900-ish people that are there every single day to cheer you on, to provide you with class content to teach, with knowledge of products, with information on how to sign people up, from how to do this business and anywhere in between. We also have a separate Facebook business group with resources especially designed for that. But you have both of those at your fingertips. And something else that's really cool is that we have an app specifically for our team that gives you prompts every single day of what to do with this business in order to grow. It's so cool. You can look up how to use oils. You can get points every single day for doing the tasks. It's called the Life Steps app, and it is awesome. And this community of people that you see here on the screen, we don't go away after today, or at least a few of us don't go away after today. If anything, we're next to you even more than we were before. And it's, you know, the community I don't think can be echoed enough, because it's true that my friends have become family through oils, and that is just such a special thing. So if you have things floating around your head of, I don't know how, or I need this, or I need that, ask if we have it for starters, and just trust that we will plug you into the place that can provide that for you.
Okay, our last one is number 10, consumable products. Okay, so full disclosure here, if you're listening to this call and you are not yet with Young Living and you're looking at different network marketing companies, people ask me this question. This is probably the most common question I get asked for people who are considering different network marketing companies. One of your top 3 things should be if the products are consumable. So there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, coming into this from a business point of view, if your goal is to do this as a business, that means you are going to have to sell something, right? Like it's not rocket science. You're going to have to sell something. Sales makes the world go around. Let's just get comfortable with the word sales. But So it has to be something that people use up, that they're using, whether they're eating it, whether they're drinking it, whether they're putting it in a diffuser. So if you're looking at network marketing companies, please make sure that whatever you decide, you get a consumable product for sales reasons. The second reason is you actually want your people to use the product, because you're a bad salesperson if they're not, right? So that might be a little bit harsh, and I was kind of joking, but truthfully, we want people to use what we are selling them, right? It's not, we don't want to sell them something and have it sit on their shelf and then check in 6 months later and it's still completely unpackaged. So that kind of wraps up our 10 points that we were going to go through today. And we've all talked about community except for me, which is so funny. I really quickly want to talk about it too, because when I got involved with Young Living, one of the first things I said to Alicia, and I'm so ashamed of this, but I'm going to share it because we're all being vulnerable here. I don't need community. I just want to figure out how to like be successful at this thing, and like, let's just get this going. And it's so funny, because if you know me, that's like the farthest thing now from the truth. I thrive in community, and like, people are my jam. I love friendships and I love loving on people. But every single one of us has shared our stories a little bit of how this has impacted us. And I hope that the common thread that you've heard is that, yes, we do this as a business. Yes, we're passionate about it and the products, but what makes the hard days easier, or what helps us get through the hard days, is the people you see on the screen, and the people that you're going to see on the screens, the more of these that we do. So I hope that you feel that. I hope that you feel that we're so excited to have you join us, or that we're so excited that you're here, and that you can always reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that. Okay, so quick action step. If you, actually everyone is going to do this, okay? So if you're not a member of Young Living, or you are a member of Young Living, you're going to reach out to the person that invited you to this class with a 1, 2, or 3, okay? Number 1 is like, get me in, tell me what to do. I want this right now. How do I start? Number 2 would be, okay, I want some more information. Number 3 would be, no, thank you. All right. You're going to message that to the person who invited you to this, or who sent you this link of the recording. And then lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, for spending an hour of your time with us. We, as you can tell, are so passionate about this. We're so excited to be on this journey with you. And Alicia, Sydney, and Amy, thank you so much for joining me on my last minute adventures. You guys are incredible. If you guys have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Maybe we'll wait just a couple minutes if anyone on the call has any questions or any comments or anything. To wait for any questions to come. If you have any questions, we're always here, even outside of the Zoom. All right, we hope that you have a great day and that you learned a lot today, and we'll see you soon.